Are your students putting their heads down, sleeping, or generally avoiding work? You're not alone. This happens in many classrooms. In today's video, we'll discuss some quick strategies you can use immediately in the moment when students refuse to work. Let's get started in today's pop-up practice. Hi, I'm Chris Davis, a member of the AEDY team at PaTTAN. As educators, we've all most likely experienced a time when a student has refused to work or participate in our class. This can be a frustrating and discouraging experience for an educator.
Today, we will discuss what to do for students who occasionally refuse to participate or when it is a new behavior for a student. Before we start, it's important to recognize that there are things that can be done before class starts to lessen the likelihood that a student will refuse to work. On the other end of this problem, it's also possible that some students will consistently refuse to participate and may need more intervention. At the end of this video, I will share some resources for both of these areas. For now, let's get to the in-the-moment strategies. One of the first things you can do when a student is refusing to work is to check for understanding. You want to make sure the student understands the content and the assignment. Be sure the student has the necessary knowledge and skills to complete the task. Another intervention to go to early when a student refuses to work is to connect or check in emotionally with the student. This can be used before, after, or at the same time as you check for understanding. Here, you provide a caring gesture or statement that shows you care about the student beyond simply getting them to complete their work. You might also provide a reflective statement such as, "It sounds like you're frustrated by this assignment," or ask a question about the student's current emotional state or needs. After checking for understanding and connecting with the student, the next few interventions can be used interchangeably based on your assessment of the situation and the student needs at that time. Hurdle help is a great example. In this strategy, you provide just enough assistance for the student to complete their work. It often looks like starting the work together and gradually releasing responsibility until the student is working on their own without you. When providing hurdle help, keep in mind what is the goal of the assignment, as well as the guiding principle that the person who does the work does the learning. Hurdle help is often providing logistical support so the student can focus on the core concepts or key learning. Another strategy is chunking the work or breaking it up. Here's a great time to use an if-then statement. If you complete 5 problems or this section of reading, then you get to take a break or do a preferred activity. Something else you could try is to change the method of presentation or completion of the assignment. Maybe the student could do it on an iPad or Chromebook. Maybe it's supposed to be done on a Chromebook and they want to do it on the paper, or maybe they want to do it on the whiteboard and you can view their answers there, record it. Whatever's allowed in your setting, but just change it up. Sometimes the novelty will help the student get into their work. Providing a change of scenery for a student might also help them get to work. This could be moving their seat within the classroom, providing flexible seating, if you have, yoga balls or something like that for them to sit on, or it could be having them go to another location. Maybe they need a quiet spot to work. There could be sensory issues at play, or maybe just on that day that student needs something slightly different. Changing the scenery could be just the move to help that student complete their work. Changing the method and change of scenery are really 2 examples of a larger strategy, giving choices. Other examples can include allowing the student to choose who they work with or in what order they complete their work. There may be other choices that are unique to your setting. Providing choice can help a struggling student feel they have some control over their time in your classroom. You could also use humor to try to build connection with the student, pull them out of maybe a negative thought pattern, but you must be careful here. Use humor, positive, light, upbeat, not sarcasm. A simple strategy to use is to provide a physical activity break. This can be something structured like doing jumping jacks or using an activity or sensory wall/bulletin board that you have in your room. It could be movement around the classroom, such as just simply walking around, or it could be movement out of the classroom, taking a walk in the hallway, going to get a drink, using the sensory walk that your school has created, or running an errand for the teacher. The goal is to get the student moving, get blood flowing, and provide a reset to return in a better frame of mind. A motivating strategy could be to recall previous successes that a student has had. Think about a time when they didn't want to work before, or when they thought something was difficult and they were able to persevere and have success. If you're having trouble recalling a student success story, you could also relate a personal or a famous story of someone who showed perseverance and grit, who overcame adversity. This next strategy is part of a larger class culture or climate, but can be used in the moment as well. You want to celebrate failure with your students. You want to show that it's okay to get it wrong. The problem is not trying. So celebrate when students make mistakes and help them understand that it is part of the learning process. And lastly, if you're not able to gain any traction with any of these above strategies, you might want to call in backup. Maybe ask for a preferred staff or even just a fresh face coming into the situation. They may come in and use a lot of the same strategies that you already have, such as change of scenery, hurdle help, physical activity break, any of those. But again, this is not a consequence or threatening. It's just another person coming in and trying to help that student. The strategies we discussed today are in-the-moment interventions or tips that you can use when a student occasionally refuses to work or participate in your class. If you have a student with a more chronic problem with work refusal, be sure to check out part 2 of our video series, where my colleague Jess Keener-Haas discusses how to create a more formal intervention plan to address this behavior. Another great way to address student work refusal is to prevent it before it begins. While it may not prevent all work refusal behavior, thoughtful development of your classroom culture and lesson plans can make it less likely to happen. For some ideas on ways to engage students in your lessons, check out the video on student engagement strategies by my colleague Bethany Sadella. Thanks for watching. I hope these strategies are useful in your work supporting students. Be sure to like and subscribe to receive more content like this from our Pop-Up Practices series. And remember, practice makes progress.